Today we'll be talking about the listing optimizations. How can you make your listing better? My name is Chin Liang, so I'm from the seller education team, and thanks for joining me today. Okay, some important notice to take a quick read on. And by the way, I'm actually located in Singapore, but just for your info. So some other information for you. So if you're new to our Amazon Live webinar, do remember to subscribe to our official YouTube channel, and then we have a playlist for all the recordings that from my Amazon Live webinar. Right. So the content itself, I will be uploading it up to the playlist. However, the Q&A section will only be for those of you who attended live, just to be fair for you to share your time with me, so that the Q&A won't be shared on the YouTube playlist. So I extracted a question this morning. It's quite a bit of questions. So if you later on see any questions that you put in is not in, then I might have missed it out. So if that's the case, I would really appreciate if you could type it into the question box so that I can address it live as well later on. Right, last but not least, do always check the Seller University or Seller Central help for the most updated information, especially things like the promotions or policy or fees update, that kind of things. I would strongly suggest that if you're watching the recording, do always refer back to the website, because that's the most updated. Right. So Seller Education is the team I'm in. There is this Seller University program where we have a lot of the short videos, one-pager guides, and everything else you want to learn on selling on Amazon that you can see on the Seller Central itself. There's a section under Learn. You can go to Seller University. Right, the other one is the one you're attending right now, which is the live webinar. Right, so every month we have a few of these live webinar where you can attend, and basically you can ask any questions. All right, if I have the time towards the end, I will address the questions that may not be relevant to the topic. All right. Right, some agenda for today. All right, the first thing I just want to share is the listing completeness. This could also be a recap. I probably cover it in some of the previous session. Well, these are the 8 core elements that we think, or rather what we see in our internal data here, that is very important, and these are the things that you have control in. All right, next 2 slides, I'm just going to share with you what are the key things and then what is the importance. All right, so the red one, I think the word is the one that you need to focus on. Okay, the browse node, this one will make it easier for your buyer to find your product, but you need to associate with the correct browse node. Right, so later if we have time, I may also tell you how you can change this if you realize that the browse node is incorrect. So basically it's also called the product category. Right, so this will have an impact of what attributes that you can key in your listing, and ultimately, if you look at the importance, that will have an impact on your listing. Right, if it's in the incorrect category, your potential customer may not be able to find your product. Right, next one is search term. I'm sure you all know search term. There is also a section in your product listing that you can put in the search terms. By putting the right relevant search term will definitely increase the product visibility. Right, so there are some ways you can look for search term. You can either use Google Trends, or you can use Product Opportunity Explorer to look at your competitor product or the product that you are selling in, to look at what are the top key search terms. All right, main product image. This one we all know. This is the first image that will appear, right, when in the result page, as well as the first image that's get loaded up on the product listing. Right, so this is very important. You ideally want to have a good quality one, right, that is clear. All right, and then the product title is also the thing that you will see also in like the search results, and also in your product listing first page as well. Right, so this is the part that you can showcase your brand. Right, I think Sometimes Amazon may not show the brand, but even if you don't put a brand, sometimes they may also include the brand on your title for you, right? So you will have to put some of the unique selling point on the product title, right? So this is a little bit different. I know if you're coming from other, e-commerce website, this is something that I find different when I myself selling on Amazon, that the product title in Amazon usually contains, like, some descriptions of the product itself. Right, the next other one are things like sub, or what we call alternate image. Right, so this will show your product in a different perspective, but this have an impact definitely on your product conversions. All right, when people landed on your product listing, you want to show other images, like, some scenarios of how the product is being used. It kind of helps your customer create a sense of, like, association of how they can use the product, help them to make more informed choice in their purchase decision. The next one is a bullet point. All right, so to emphasize, bullet point is useful. You just, probably as a good best practice, put about 4 to 5 bullet points, right, to communicate your key feature, your unique selling point of your products. Product description is to complement your bullet points, right? You don't have to repeat, but it would be good to expand a little bit on what you already mentioned on your bullet point, right? So you try to put yourself in your customer's shoes. What do they want to feel or think or touch about, this product that will really help. And I think the last important one is the A plus content. Okay, I myself use this, and I do find that this is pretty effective, or in a way that it does improve the, I would say, the attractiveness of your product listing. Right, this is only available for brand owner, meaning that you are either owning the brand yourself, you have the trademark, you are enrolled into Amazon brand registry, all right, or if you are using, somebody else's brand, you are being granted access, right, to use this, right. So yeah, first thing first is, as a brand owner, you need to enroll into Amazon brand registry. Then only you can use this A plus content. Right, so the listing completeness score we kind of talk about is this one. Right, this is not shown anywhere. This is just for, I would say, more for your own guidance perspective. All right, so try to aim for the A, completeness grade, about 80 to 100. All right, so meaning that, if you use any of these attributes, or you use most of the core attribute, you'll be around the scoring of 80 to 100. All right. Right, in terms of the different category, I think you can just look at in general. If you use any of this feature, you can give yourself like a point system, but ultimately try to aim to have at least 80 points and above, right? So your listing is deemed to be complete. Now that's just one thing. Your image quality itself, the quality of your description itself, has to be, taken into consideration. That is something that a score cannot give you. But assuming that the attributes, you are using it correctly, right? We do see in terms of the order volume comparison, is that a listing with, like, within the grade A, like 80 to 100 score, usually do better, right, compared to the other listing which may not have used all the core elements, which is why we want to emphasize the importance of using all the key elements in your product listing. Right, so zoom into specifically on the product description. Right, at this point of time, if you have any question, feel free to put it into the Q&A question box. Okay. All right, this one is something that, I mentioned earlier on, the bullet points and product description. I know this all might sound a little bit too much, But in fact, right now in the when you create a listing, there are actually some AI tools to help you do that in Amazon product listing creation page itself. If not, there are also a lot of free tools that I myself also use. All right, I'm not going to say which one. I'm sure you know which one that you can use to help you, generate a draft of the product description and the bullet point, etc. All right. So definitely use those as your first draft, and then from there on you can customize it according to how you want your product description to be like. Right, these are just some good practices, right? So in the past, HTML is supported, but I believe like a couple of years or 2 years back till now, you can no longer put in HTML text. Yep. So it's plain text typically for the description, right? That is where A plus content plays a more important role, right? Because the description portion you can no longer put HTML text. And so do not put any of your other things like your email address or what website URL in that, right? This could potentially have your listing being suppressed if you put any of these details in the product description. Again, these are just some case study we have internally, just to share the top and the bottom, right? How it's being showcased, the key selling point of the product. Right, you just briefly look at it. I would say every product is different, and you know your product best. Hopefully, then you will know what kind of words is better. And of course, like I mentioned earlier on, you can use some of the AI tools to help you do your first draft easily and faster instead of typing out yourself. But this is just to show the I would say the not compliance kind of description. You put a lot of caps and then put a website, etc. This kind, it looks very unprofessional, like too many exclamation mark, etc. Right, it kind of reduce the credibility. It looks like some scammy listing, that kind of stuff. Right, next one to talk about the A plus content. Okay, now this one to recap again, you need to be a brand owner, right? Meaning that you enroll into Amazon brand registry with your own trademark, and then you'll be able to unlock this feature. Typically, it's unlocked automatically if you are already a brand owner that is registered into Amazon brand registry, but you cannot create A plus content. Then you might want to send a help to the support team where they should be able to check and unlock it for you. But usually it's automated. For my own account, is actually automated. Once you are enrolled in the Amazon brand registry, you will get access to the A plus content feature. All right, so I definitely think this is a very useful feature that's kind of make your listing stand out from the rest. Right, so highly encourage if you have access to A plus content, you should make full use of A plus content, where you can create highly visualize kind of graphics and make your product even more even stand out even more among the rest of the products. You can even do comparison chart, or you can do comparison not just to your own product, you can do comparison to your competing product, your competitor product. If you know that your product is better in some better in certain aspect of your competitor product, you can actually put this comparison chart in, right? That gives your customers a good sense of how good your product is compared to the rest. All right, so I think this is very very useful feature that everyone who have access should use it. All right, so the benefits are a lot. Increase the conversion for sure because of the highly visually appealing pages, assuming you actually do your image, etc., right? right? So if you need help, doing all this, you can also find there's a lot of free tools that you can use to help you quickly create product detail, images, etc. easily. Right, this one is just to share that how it kind of helps to bring in more sales with a good A plus content page. Right, there's a lot. I probably won't show today since if you can actually find like some very good brand who use the A plus content very well. So later, if you have time, I will show you some of it. Okay. Right, so there's no coding involved. If you're thinking, oh, do you need to code it and stuff like that? It's all drag and drop. Right, once you're in this A plus content creation page, right, everything is drag and drop. You just need to, I wouldn't say drag and even okay, like mostly drag and drop. You just click what kind of tiles you want, right? You can drag it up or down and stuff like that. Yeah, but typically um, there's actually no coding involved. Just clicking around a button, organizing the tiles. There's up to about 17 different, we call it modules of tiles you can use. Like these different visualization styles you can see here, right? And then you can combine up to 5, if I'm not wrong, right? And once you created one, you think that okay, that structure is good for a particular product. And going forward, if you have more product, you don't really have to redesign it. You just duplicate it and then just update the images and your text. For some example, you can of course adapt to what you think is most suitable. This is a guide that we think will be useful as a start. You have something to grab attention first, and then go more into details about what are the scenarios that your product can be used, right? And then show some more unique selling point of your features, right? Some example of how some of the A plus listing, A plus content listing page can be look like. Which I'm sure if you all shop on Amazon, even Amazon SG, Amazon.com, etc., you will definitely chance upon this kind of listing where it looks more appealing than just having a bullet point and the description. All right. So just to share this one of our seller, right, that his experience in using or upgrading, from optimizing A plus content has kind of helped them drive more conversion. All right. So the seller is actually selling this in-house kind of a plant, they grow your own vegetable in-house for this kind of product. So the image on the middle one is the one before they do a revamp, and after that they do a plus content revamp, right? One look you can straight tell what is the difference, right, in terms of the vibe, the design wise. So something that the seller share would be they start to incorporate more lifestyle, images. In the past, they typically just show how a product is showing, like with a white background, like a main image kind of a product image in the A plus content. But then they realize, they want to create the association for their target audience. On the right side, you can see they start to showcase the product, right, being used and put it into like a beside, a living room, beside the sofa, that kind of stuff. Right, so another one of our top seller as well that kind of share in one of the seller meetup last time when they came, they also share about how they use A plus content, right, to help improve and drive more sales. Well, like what she say, today everybody has A plus content, right? So if you don't have, you might be losing out, right? So this is how this seller, I think it's called About Lifestyle, her shop. You can actually find it later. I'm not sure whether she updated the store page already or not, and her listing, etc. You can see how she kind of used her A plus content on her listing, right? She uses videos, create a story, make it as visual as possible, having a consistent branding image across all the listing. Okay, having said that, I also want to share with you some, or rather a tool or tools, you can say that, right, to fix and also do some quick improvement to your listing. Right. So the purpose of this is you want to ensure that your listing is not being suppressed. Right. If you have a one or two listing, you might be able to easily tell, oh, if you go to your all inventory page, you can see, oh, your listing is being suppressed. But if you have, a bit more, you might not be able to tell which listing is being suppressed, etc. Right. So you want to ensure that your listing is not being suppressed, because if it's suppressed, it means that your listing is not being showing up in any of the search. Right. So how to prevent that? First of all, go to your manage inventory under the inventory drop down menu, right? So they recently made some changes, or it might be different from the last time around you've seen. Right, you go to the inventory under the manage for inventory on your seller central. Now in the listing tools above, you can see the improve listing quality option and the list improve listing quality in bulk. All right. And the first one, the one improved listing quality, this is actually an upgrade of the previous tool. I think previous is called listing quality dashboard or something. Yeah, right. So this one is the quick, thing you can actually do. Maybe even after your this session, you might want to go to this page, look at this feature, and use it. Right. So there'll be you can see something like that. Let me see where's my pen. Right, when you go into the page, you will see something like that. All your listing will appear. All right. Then obviously you want to make sure that there's nothing that is showing suppressed. All right. Active means that people can find your listing and buy your listing. All right. And what you need to do next is you go and click on the improve listing quality, okay, button, and then you will have this right side. I think they will either slide down or pop up. Right. So they'll recommend you what are the attributes that they believe is relevant that you should include. Right. Things like your neck style, fit type style. Right. I think this product is actually selling t-shirt or something. Yeah. Right. So like I mentioned earlier on, the browse node will determine what kind of attribute that you can see, or rather input. Right? So these are the options that I strongly recommend you to put it in, because if you don't have these things filled up, let's say if somebody search for a product like maybe t-shirt, right, your product could potentially be one of the potential product that your customer may want to buy. However, there's a lot of listing in Amazon. Some like yourself or myself, when we shop, we'll do some filtering. You just want to find certain style, certain fit, and then you start using the filter to narrow down your shopping, your experience, right? So if you did not put in these details when people do the filtering, etc., your product might be filtered away because you don't have these details entered, or rather input in your listing, right? So it's always best to make sure that you can bring down the number to zero, the improved quality listing like you see in this example. All right, there is 39 improvement that can be done, quite a lot, right? So if you don't want to do it one by one, you can also use the one on the right side, is improve listing quality in bulk, right? This one is When you click, it will download a list of your listing that needs to be updated. It's a file. Right, then you key in, update all those details and do not change the file name or the format, etc. Then you upload back, and then they'll update in bulk for you. Okay, this also works. All right. However, I would say if you're using some other what do you call it? If you're not using, usually it's in Excel sheet. I do encounter I'm using Mac, and sometimes, or rather most of the time, the default software on Mac, like Numbers, may actually screw up the formatting, and then when I upload back, it may not work. You might want to make sure that you are using like Microsoft or Excel, preferably, so that you can edit the files and then upload back without any error. If not, you might actually spend more time fixing the error than improving the quality. Well, if not, you can just use the first feature, and then you can go through it one by one, right? So that you also understand, is there a possibility that your product category is wrong, right? If the improve listing quality option looks very off to you, then you might want to make sure that to check again, is it that the product category that's tied to your product is incorrect. Right, so the purpose, like I mentioned, they will highlight, system highlight the important product information for sellers, right, to increase product visibility, right. So what you can do with this, you can check what's missing, right. You can view it in a product table form, right. If you have a lot, you can also use it to prioritize which one you want to make update first, because on that page, let me go back. Yeah, you can actually look at your, your rank, if you have any sales rank, etc. Right. Okay, right now this feature is actually available in all the store, or I would say it's store, US, Canada, Mexico, yeah. Alright, so yeah, we call it store now. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is also what I talk about. You see, on the if you put in the product attributes correctly, during the shopping there'll be all these what do you call it, filtering or whatnot, right? If you don't have the attribute and somebody select certain features that which actually you do have it, but just because you did not put it in, your product may just be hidden and filtered away. Right. And then those attributes will also appear, immediately uh, over here, some of those details. All right. Okay, the last one, the product video. Okay. Du- du- du. Right, if you realize you can actually upload product videos, right? So if you're a new seller, if I remember correctly, as a new seller, you may not be able to upload video. All right, if I remember correctly, all right, yeah, actually in Seller Central, I think it did mention, you must be a seller for I think about 90 days or 60 days, if I remember. Then only you'll be able to create the videos. Right, and we all know product videos, product video that showcase a product is actually very useful, especially for ourselves, the customer. We also want to view how the product is being looked like, either in real life, taken together with humans in the videos, etc., or how the products is being used to showcase all the features. Okay, there's some specification, but not to worry, it will also appear on the Seller Central, right? Some tips. that you can use to create a video. All right, there's a lot of very nice videos, especially for Amazon listing. You can see like Kindle on these, right? So I won't go in too much of these. I'm pretty sure you will know whether or not your video is good enough, all right? All right, but always a typical video narrative is, to showcase the selling point, use the scenario, or show the user experience, right? And at the end of it, show your product design and any slogan, or your branding, mission, etc. So how you find these? You can actually lay down, check it out on your Seller Central, where you can find these under Seller Central. I think it's under the catalog. You can see upload and manage video option. Right. So, I did put some notes here. All right. You need to be selling for about 3 months or more before you can use this feature. Right. Uploading of the videos. Okay, some example you can see here. Right. If you're selling electronic products, personal care product, this is to show you what are some of the videos that some of the seller are using to demonstrate how their product is being used on their day-to-day, lifestyle kind of videos. Right, if you're selling this, like, pet supplies, or even other product that needs to be assembled or cleaned, this will be very useful. Right, some things to watch out for when you're creating the video. All right, make sure that if you're going to use any third party content or etc., make sure you have the authorization. If not, do not use it. Right. Right, same for the music font, etc., that is used in the video. Make sure that it is something that you have the license to use it. All right, I hope you managed to take in what you think is needed for your listing if you have not done those yet. So towards the end, right now, I'm going to share with you what are some of the Seller University resources that we have. Right, all this information is actually in the same QR code again. Right, we have this useful resources link that we create and curate for every one of you, so that you just need to scan one QR code. You can find all these useful guide from Seller University. If you want to read more in depth on what you can do for your listing, etc. Okay. Well, I also want to share what are some of the other webinars that we have this month. Right, today is the 11th. All right, so this is actually the fourth webinar of the month. We have one last one, which is our monthly Amazon ads webinar. Right, so that will be very useful for you as well, to start thinking about ads and how you can use a different Amazon ads product to drive your sales more. Right, so our Amazon Ads Manager will be there during the session, so do make sure you sign up. And then if you have any question regarding ads, we will be able to address it during the webinar. Okay, lastly, there's a in-person event. If you're not aware, if you did not check your email, on the 16th of September, is actually a Monday. We have an in-person event in our Amazon office, Singapore. Right, if you're in Singapore and if you have time, do join us in this event. It's gonna be 10 to 4. Right, there will be some food, I believe. Right, it's all in the sign up page. Right, you can find the sign up link in the same QR code as well. Right, over there I'll be sharing with you all some of the promotional tools that you can use. Right, and why you need to be get yourself prepared for the upcoming PBDD. Lastly, just want to share again the Southern Seller Fest 2024. Do sign up if you have not this time round. It's going to be a ticketed event. And there is it's going to happen in 19 to 20 November. This is our biggest event of the year. It's like a seller summit kind of thing where we run annually, but this time round is together with this Southern Seller Fest. And before the in-person event itself, there are some free pre-summit webinar series that you can attend. Right, there's actually four. If you miss out, it's fine because there will be on-demand recording. Alright, this is something different from the live webinar that I do. Right, this is the pre-summit webinar that is done with the Southern Seller Fest team. Alright, and I'll see you there as well because I will be there in the event as well if you're joining.